I'm Kurtop, and these are 100 ancient discoveries that could be evidence of UFOs. Life in a meteorite. Researchers studying a meteorite found on the island of Sri Lanka claim that it is not just a stone fragment from space, but a potential artifact of extraterrestrial origin. The analyses carried out showed the presence of fossilized microscopic algae, which, according to scientists, may be evidence supporting the Panspermia hypothesis, the idea that life spreads throughout the universe with the help of asteroids and comets. These discoveries have generated widespread interest, as they could confirm the theory of the existence of life beyond Earth. However, the results have been criticized by the scientific community. Some experts argue that the discovered fossils are too similar to terrestrial microorganisms that live in fresh water. The possibility of the meteorite being contaminated by terrestrial life forms while it was on Earth's surface also remains a serious argument against the hypothesis of the find's extraterrestrial origin. The mystery of Arkhim. Arkhim, often called the Russian Stonehenge, is one of the most mysterious archaeological sites in Russia. Located in the steppes of the southern Urals, this megalithic complex impresses with its size and precise layout, making it similar to the famous Stonehenge in Great Britain, both in its astronomical functions and its geographic latitude. Arkhim is a circular fortress with two concentric rings of walls and streets connecting dwellings, which were built with the ancient people's astronomical knowledge in mind. Studies have shown that the buildings in Arkhim were constructed in such a way as to observe 18 astronomical events, including solstices and equinoxes. This shows the advanced astronomical knowledge of the people who lived in this region during the Bronze Age. Arkhim not only attracts archaeologists, but is also a subject of interest for researchers of anomalous phenomena. Unusual magnetic anomalies are recorded in the area of the complex, which sometimes affect the operation of electronic devices. These anomalies, as well as a number of other unexplained phenomena, give rise to various theories, including assumptions that Arkhim could have been used or even created by extraterrestrial civilizations. In addition, the unique architecture and the complex water supply system indicate a high level of social organization and engineering skill of its builders. These qualities make Arkhim one of the key Bronze Age monuments in Eurasia. The unusual shape of the asteroid Oumuamua. In 2017, astronomers detected a mysterious object that passed through the solar system. Named Oumuamua, which means messenger from afar in Hawaiian, it became the first known interstellar asteroid. But its most amazing feature is its shape. With a length of 230 meters and a width of only 35, it turned out to be abnormally elongated, which is not typical for asteroids. Chinese astronomers suggested that such objects are formed as a result of tidal disruption, when a celestial body comes too close to a massive planet or star and breaks apart. In their calculations, the best creator of such asteroids is a system with a red dwarf and a gas giant located close to the star. Some scientists believe that Oumuamua could have been a fragment of a planet or a planetesimal, the building material of young worlds. However, even under the best conditions, such objects form extremely rarely, so its appearance is a true interstellar rarity, possibly the only one in our entire history of observations.
The mystery in the Amazon jungle. Padre Carlos Crespi Croce, an Italian missionary who dedicated most of his life to serving in Ecuador, became one of the most mysterious figures of the 20th century thanks to his unusual collection of artifacts. While working with the Shuar tribes in the jungles of Ecuador, he acquired many ancient items that, according to some researchers, could be evidence of the existence of an ancient, highly developed civilization and possibly even contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. Crespi's collection included strange metal plates with engraved symbols resembling ancient scripts, figurines depicting creatures with unusual features, and objects that many described as technologically advanced. The metal reliefs were especially intriguing, depicting beings with elongated skulls, stars, and scenes reminiscent of space travel. Interestingly, there were no known civilizations in this region that could have produced such complex artifacts. Rumors about the collection spread after some visitors, including researchers, claimed to have seen evidence of extraterrestrial influence in it. Some of the artifacts, according to witnesses, were made of metals that could not be identified. Crespi, however, was not seeking fame. He claimed that he received these items from local tribes in exchange for assistance and food. The collection's connection to extraterrestrial civilizations becomes even more intriguing when we consider the legendary tunnels beneath Ecuador. The tunnels, known as the Tayo system, are said to contain a library of metal books. Some theorists suggest that these tunnels were a base for an ancient race, possibly of extraterrestrial origin. The Crespi collection could have been part of these treasures. Unfortunately, after Padre Crespi's death in 1982, the collection was destroyed by fire or stolen, and its fate remains unclear. Could a missionary have become the guardian of traces from an ancient collection, or a cosmic civilization hidden in the Amazon jungle?
The oldest mineral on Earth. In 2001, a unique zircon crystal was discovered in Australia, which is recognized as the oldest mineral on Earth. Its age is impressive, 4 billion years, which makes it a witness to the earliest stages of our planet's formation. This tiny crystal gives scientists the opportunity to understand how the Earth cooled and formed during its first billions of years. Today, this rare artifact can be seen at the University of Wisconsin's Geological Museum in Madison, USA. Zircon is interesting not only because of its age, but also because its resistance to destruction allows it to preserve information about ancient processes that took place on Earth, making it a true keeper of our planet's history. The Vatican's alien archives. Ufologist Steve Bassett claims that the Catholic Church is hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life in its archives and urges the Pope to reveal it. In his opinion, the Church has known about contacts with extraterrestrial civilizations for a long time, but is deliberately hiding it. Bassett provides several pieces of evidence. First, he noticed strange images in medieval paintings, which he believes indicate the influence of UFOs. Hares fighting with knights or trumpeters using their bodies in unusual ways, in his opinion, hint at alien intervention. Second, in 2011 at the Vatican, astronomer Guy Consolmagno jokingly said that the Church is ready to baptize aliens, if any are found. Bassett took this as a hint at the existence of a secret Vatican program preparing for contact with extraterrestrial beings. The third piece of evidence, according to the ufologist, is a statement by former U.S. intelligence officer David Grush that in 1933, Italy discovered a UFO, and Pope Pius XII handed it over to the United States. Bassett urges the public to demand that the Vatican show these archives to the world. The Roswell Disc. The Roswell Disc is a mystical artifact that was rumored to have been found near Roswell, New Mexico, after the famous UFO incident in 1947. According to some reports, the disc is part of the wreckage of an unidentified flying object. The disc was a round metal plate about 3 meters in diameter, with unusual symbols and markings on its surface that could not be removed. The disc did not correspond to any known earthly language. The material from which the disc was made turned out to be unidentified and had strange properties. Some sources claimed that the disc was handed over to the military and studied in secret laboratories. Those who had the opportunity to see it spoke about its potential connection to extraterrestrial technology and the possibility of storing information that surpassed all earthly counterparts. Over time, the Roswell disc became a symbol of conspiracy theories and mysteries associated with UFOs. The Roswell disc is still disputed and remains a subject of debate among scientists and paranormal researchers. The disc has become a legend among UFO enthusiasts, and many believe that it is kept in secret government archives, along with other artifacts pointing to extraterrestrial involvement in human affairs. Examples from Japan. The Japanese government has long denied the existence of UFOs, citing a lack of credible evidence and concerns about
возможной общественной паники.
In addition, the government sought to maintain control over information to prevent any data leaks. However, Japanese pilots have repeatedly reported UFO sightings. One of the well-known incidents occurred in 1986 when the crew of a Japanese cargo plane over Alaska observed 3 unidentified objects that accompanied them for 50 minutes. This incident received a lot of attention and sparked interest among ufologists. In 2020, the Japanese government's attitude toward UFOs changed significantly. Defense Minister Taro Kono stated that the government would start taking UFO reports more seriously and would develop guidelines for pilots and the military in case of encounters with unidentified objects. This decision was made amid a growing number of sightings and public pressure. The defense minister initiated the development of standard procedures for collecting and analyzing data about such incidents and also strengthened cooperation with international partners. The analysis of UFO data conducted by the Japanese military showed that some sightings really cannot be explained by ordinary phenomena or known aircraft. However, so far, no convincing evidence of the presence of extraterrestrial technology has been found. Beigou stone pipes. In a remote region of China, at the foot of Mount Beigou, amazing underground pipes have been discovered. The pipes are made of stone. These ancient structures, which are over 5,000 years old, are striking in their complexity and precision. Excavations have shown that the pipes go deep underground and come in various sizes, from small diameters of a few centimeters to huge ones over a meter in diameter. The technology used to create these pipes remains a mystery to modern scientists, who still do not know how ancient civilizations were able to carve and install such complex structures. Their origin and purpose remain unknown. It gives rise to many hypotheses and assumptions. Researchers suggest that these pipes could have been part of an ancient water supply or ventilation system. However, there is also a more intriguing theory. It is possible that the Beigou stone pipes are evidence of extraterrestrial involvement. The precision and scale of the construction make us wonder about the existence of ancient technologies that we do not yet understand. Interestingly, similar artifacts are known from other places in the world, for example on the Colorado Plateau. Here they also have a diameter ranging from 50 centimeters to 1 meter. Archaeologists discovered that inside, these pipes became coated with an iron-containing crust. Something similar has also been found in Louisiana, USA. In this case, the diameter reaches 70 centimeters. Changes in human DNA. Some scientists are discussing the possibility that alien microbes could affect human DNA, leading to significant changes in our genetic code. This hypothesis suggests that such microorganisms could not only exist, but also influence human evolution, making us more like them. In support of this idea, researchers point to a number of observable changes in the human population, such as a decrease in testosterone levels and a reduction in sperm count in men. These trends can be interpreted as signs of evolutionary changes, possibly caused by external influences, including environmental factors or even the impact of extraterrestrial agents. The decrease in testosterone levels and sperm count can have serious consequences for reproductive health and the demographic structure of the population, which makes this topic important from both a scientific and a social perspective. Cave paintings of Valcamonica. In the Valcamonica Valley, located in northern Italy, there are over 200,000 cave paintings created by various cultures over the past 8,000 years. These engravings are a unique testament to ancient civilizations, depicting their rituals, social structure, and everyday life. However, among the many traditional images of animals, dancing people, and symbols, there are several engravings that attract special interest from researchers. Some of them resemble figures dressed in strange costumes, reminiscent of spacesuits, with details similar to helmets, antennas, and other devices. These drawings have given rise to many speculations. Some claim that they could have been created as a result of contact between the ancient inhabitants of Valcamonica and extraterrestrial civilizations. Such theories often rely on the appearance of these figures, arguing that ancient people might have depicted extraterrestrial beings, or even astronauts whom they encountered. However, most scientists tend to believe that these engravings most likely represent ritual or symbolic images, possibly related to the religious beliefs or ceremonies of that time. Scientists always have the same opinion here. If something can't be explained, it means it's either connected to something extraterrestrial or to an ancient ritual. Square structure on Mars. The Mars Orbiter spacecraft recorded a mysterious square structure on the surface of Mars. An object with clear lines and precise angles sparked a flurry of discussions. Ufologists were quick to declare it an artifact of a vanished civilization, while skeptics urged not to jump to conclusions. Scientists believe that the reason for the appearance of the square could be quite simple, ranging from geological processes to a camera defect. As an example, they cite a square formation in Tasmania that appeared as a result of erosion. However, conspiracy theorists are not satisfied with such explanations. They compare the discovery to the Egyptian pyramids and fantasize about ancient Martians. Elon Musk also responded to the discussion, suggesting sending astronauts to investigate everything on site. Meanwhile, social media users found out that the images were edited to enhance the effect. Nevertheless, even in the original photo, you can see the square. What is it? Is it an illusion, a technical error, or really something unusual? Wheels of Buddha and devil's carousels. Marine bioluminescence, a phenomenon where some sea creatures emit light, has been known for a long time. For example, some types of plankton are able to produce light bright enough to be noticed by the human eye. This phenomenon is often linked to glowing seen on or just below the water's surface. However, in addition to scientific explanations, there are also more mystical stories about mysterious circles on the water. These glowing rings are called Buddha's wheels, or devil's carousels. Interestingly, according to one version, the first were named by Eastern sailors and the second by Europeans. The Chinese considered such phenomena to be favorable omens, while Europeans, particularly Christians, saw them as a bad sign. Notice how people in the West and the East, observing the same natural phenomenon, interpret it in completely opposite ways. At the same time, despite the popularity of these stories, there is not a single officially documented account of such phenomena. Perhaps the mysterious glowing circles are connected to marine plankton, which creates a bright glow in the darkness of the ocean. It is also worth noting that such stories about Buddha's wheels and devil's carousels are often reflected in folklore, but so far remain only part of myths and legends, not supported by factual evidence.
This discovery changed history. The Nebra Sky disk, created 3,600 years ago, still remains one of the most mysterious archaeological discoveries. Included in the UNESCO Memory of the World Register in 2013, this artifact impresses with its design and complex manufacturing technology. Recent studies conducted in Germany have shown that the disk was made using hot forging in 10 stages. Each stage involved heating the metal to 700 degrees and processing it for removal. This data was obtained using modern methods such as X-ray spectroscopy and microstructural analysis. Attempts to reproduce the technology showed that the ancient original methods surpassed modern processing techniques. The Nebra Sky disk is not only a unique artifact, but also evidence of the advanced metallurgical knowledge of that time.
UFOs in Russia. UFOs have always fascinated people. Mysterious objects in the sky have been reported throughout history, and ancient chronicles and myths often mention strange celestial phenomena. Of course, most of them can be explained from a scientific point of view, optical illusions, natural phenomena, or man-made objects, but about 3% of cases remain unanswered. In Russia, interest in UFOs is also high. Russian chronicles already mention strange celestial phenomena. For example, in 1100, during a battle with the Plovtsians, chroniclers recorded the appearance of mysterious celestial forces. And in 1240, something similar was observed during the Battle of the Neva. Of course, it's hard to say exactly what our ancestors saw, but the fact remains. Mysterious objects in the sky have been noted throughout history. In Soviet times, the study of UFOs was approached more systematically. In 1977, one of the most famous cases occurred, the Petrozavodsk phenomenon. At that time, people saw a glowing object in the sky and tried to explain it for a long time. Eventually, the official explanation was that it was a satellite launch. Overall, the UFO Commission in the USSR concluded that most sightings were rocket launches, atmospheric phenomena, or weather balloons. But despite the skepticism of scientists, people continue to observe mysterious objects. Reports come especially often from the Urals, from the Chelyabinsk region. In 1990, local historian Vitaly Chernetsov spoke about a terrifying flying object over Lake Zhurland, a sphere that seemed to be taking water from the reservoir. And In 2003, eyewitnesses in Chelyabinsk saw a UFO emitting such a bright blue light that you could read by it. Another place of power is the Perm region, more specifically the village of Malepka. This place is called the Russian Bermuda Triangle. Researchers and tourists regularly come here hoping to see a UFO. Ufologists even claim that they found fragments of an unknown device here containing pure tungsten metal, which is rarely found in nature. In 2007, local residents observed a huge glowing sphere that lit up the night sky, and then there was a loud bang. Some say it was a meteorite, but no evidence was found. And in 2010, student archaeologists filmed a video of an object that hovered over the taiga. Alien visitors in Egypt. Recent archaeological excavations in Egypt have led to a sensational discovery that has attracted the attention of the whole world. Archaeologists found artifacts in the area of the Giza Plateau, which, according to some scientists, may be evidence that aliens visited Earth 5,000 years ago. It all started with excavations in a recently discovered tomb dating back to the Old Kingdom of Egypt. Among the items found, metal plates with mysterious symbols and images of flying objects stood out in particular, which resembled modern UFOs. Analysis of the artifacts showed that they were covered with inscriptions in an unknown language. Some scientists suggest that this could be a message from extraterrestrials, which the ancient Egyptians might have perceived as contact with another civilization. Linguists are already working on deciphering these symbols, but so far the results remain unclear. Attention was also drawn to images of unidentified flying objects on the plates, which, according to ufologists, could be diagrams of an alien ship. It seems to me that so far the researchers have made a lot of hasty conclusions, and most likely, the interpretation of these plates will be more down to earth. Therefore, it's better to wait until the study of these artifacts is completed and find out what symbols are depicted and why they are there. The Wolfsegg artifact. In 1885, a worker named Rael Beck discovered a mysterious artifact about 60 million years old, known as the Wolfsegg iron. He found it in a block of brown coal at a foundry in Austria. This metallic object, embedded in the coal, caused great astonishment among the workers. They handed the find over to the local museum in 1880. In that year, Professor of Geology Adolf Gerlt suggested that the artifact came from space, but further research showed that the artifact does not contain nickel, chromium, or cobalt, which rules out a meteoritic origin. In 1973, an analysis conducted by Dr. Hubert Matliener showed that the artifact was made using the lost wax casting method. Adolf suggests that it was created artificially. The artifact is almost cubic in shape, measuring 67 by 47 millimeters, and weighing 785 grams, made of solid steel. Its edges were sharp and straight, indicating its machine-made origin. Some experts believe it was a fragment of a much larger tool. This discovery gave rise to the theory of the existence of an ancient advanced civilization on Earth millions of years ago. And although many thought it had disappeared, the artifact is still kept in the Heimathaus Museum in Vöcklabruck, but it is no longer on public display. The mysteries of the Codex Gigas. The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, is an ancient manuscript that holds many mysteries. Created in the 13th century, it impresses with its size and contents. Inside the book, you can find not only the texts of the Old and New Testaments, but also an image of the devil himself, which takes up an entire page. However, the most intriguing are the astronomical maps, which appear unusually detailed for their time. This has given rise to many theories about the possible extraterrestrial origin of the knowledge used in creating the Codex. Some researchers believe that the manuscript may contain encrypted messages or knowledge passed down by extraterrestrial civilizations. Legend has it that the Codex Gigas was written by a monk in a single night with the help of the devil. What secrets does this mysterious monk hold? And is it possible that its pages contain encrypted keys to ancient knowledge that came from space? The Codex Gigas remains one of the most mysterious artifacts of antiquity, which we will definitely study someday. A 70,000-year-old bracelet. Scientists believe that this bracelet, which is 65 to 70,000 years old, was created by Denisovans, an ancient type of hominid closely related to but distinct from Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. If this is confirmed, the date of the bracelet's creation will have to be pushed back by 30,000 years. The bracelet was discovered in Siberia, and it may change our understanding of ancient human development. It is already forcing scientists to reconsider the known levels of technology. For example, the bracelet has a hole made by drilling or sawing. The Skull of Destiny. These crystal masterpieces appeared long before the beginning of civilization and are carved with astonishing precision without a single chip. And despite all the achievements of the 21st century, we are still far from such precision. Only primitive tools were used to create these skulls. Scientists have always been fascinated by the stories of the ancient Maya civilization. They lived 1,500 years ago and were remarkably advanced for their time. In 1930, during excavations in the city of Lubentun, one of these crystal skulls was found. Archaeologist Frederick Mitchell Hedges discovered it. This discovery challenged scientists. How could the Maya create a skull with such precision using only primitive tools? This question remains unanswered today, but our mysteries continue. In Belize, the remains of a human in jars about 14,000 years old were found. But how did an ancient Asian end up in America at all? This remains a mystery we have yet to solve, just like the true reason for the creation of the crystal skulls. The future of humanity on Mars. Elon Musk does not give up on the idea of colonizing Mars. He is confident that by 2027, automated Starship stations will land there, and by 2031, the first humans will be able to set foot on the red planet. But how will society be organized on Mars? Elon Musk claims that the Martian colony should be completely self-sufficient, without any dependence on governments on Earth. At the same time, he advocates abandoning representative democracy in favor of direct popular governance. A similar system existed in Veliki Novgorod from 1136 to 1478. The townspeople would gather at the Vesh and decide important issues themselves: laws, peace treaties, the rule of the prince. Essentially, Musk is proposing a similar model for the first Martians. In his opinion, Mars is a chance for humanity to start with a clean slate and survive if Earth ends up on the brink of catastrophe. Neuralgic bronze statuettes. These figurines with horned helmets shed light on a mysterious people whose origins are still debated. In the 12th century BC, the Mediterranean faced a catastrophe with the invasion of the so-called Sea Peoples, who united to attack the major civilizations of the Bronze Age. These warlike peoples, described by the Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses III, carried out attacks on such great powers as Ugarit, the Hittites, Cyprus, and the Canaanites. It is their invasions that are associated with the Bronze Age collapse, the disappearance or weakening of many great states. One of the most mysterious tribes among the Sea Peoples are the Shardana, or Shurden. In Egyptian depictions, they are shown wearing horned helmets and body armor. The most interesting aspect is this people's connection to Sardinia. In Phoenician inscriptions on the Nora stone, Sardinia is mentioned as SRDN, the same name that the Egyptians used to refer to the Shardana. The neuralgic bronze statuettes found on the island supported this theory. They depict warriors with the same horned helmets as seen on the reliefs of Ramesses III, as well as armed with shields and swords. This raises the question, were the Shurden originally from Sardinia? Or did they settle on the island after their campaigns in the eastern Mediterranean? While historians continue to study the artifacts, this mystery remains unsolved and gives rise to many hypotheses about the role of the Shurden in the disappearance of the Bronze Age civilization.
The Kigum Incident. This photograph, often referred to as the Kigum Incident, allegedly shows the site of a supposed unidentified flying object crash in the forest, which is rumored to have occurred in the Soviet Union in the 1960s. Popular theories say the incident was strictly classified, and the military quickly cordoned off the discovery area. It is said that the object is a metallic disc about 10 meters in diameter with a smooth surface, covered in strange symbols resembling hieroglyphs. Local eyewitnesses, who are almost impossible to find now, claimed that not only strange debris was observed at the crash site, but also bodily remains, which were described as humanoid but not human. In the context of the Cold War, such events were carefully concealed to avoid mass panic or leaks of information about alleged technologies that could provide an advantage in the arms race. Conspiracy theorists claim that the crash technology could have been studied and partially used in subsequent military developments. What does this do? What makes this story even more mysterious is its similarity to other alleged UFO crashes, such as Roswell in the United States. This has led to the hypothesis that such events are part of a global interaction between governments and extraterrestrial civilizations, where each side tries to uncover the secrets of the visitors' technologies. The incident's credibility is still uncertain, but the photos and descriptions keep attracting those seeking evidence of extraterrestrial presence on Earth.
The mystery of the flying stones. India has always been shrouded in mystery. In every corner you can come across something amazing and incredible. Many people come here for new experiences, to discover unknown spiritual possibilities within themselves. Once you visit this amazing country, it is impossible to forget it. One of the mysteries of India is the levitating stones in the small village of Shivapur, which is located 200 kilometers from Bombay. Near the local temple, there are several boulders weighing more than 50 kilograms. According to the locals, these stones can rise into the air. To lift the first, heavier stone, 11 men are required. They must stand around it and say certain words. After that, the stone begins to levitate and can be supported with one finger. The smaller boulder requires 9 men to lift it. There is also a third stone, weighing over 60 kilo, which can only be lifted by the temple monks. The origin of these stones is mysterious. Some believe that they were sent by the gods. Others think that they broke off from a nearby cliff. A local resident who takes care of the temple claims that the stones occasionally split, and he replaces them with new ones by breaking them off from the cliff. But even the new stones retain their ability to levitate. Some scientists suggest that ancient people were able to move objects with the power of their minds, like during the construction of the Egyptian pyramids. Perhaps the knowledge of levitation was lost, but sometimes it resurfaces in places like this. Interestingly, in the last century, Edvard Litskalnin, an immigrant from Latvia, used similar methods to build his coral castle in Florida, which only confirms the existence of such knowledge. These unexplained phenomena support the hypothesis of extraterrestrial influence on ancient civilizations, suggesting that some technologies or methods may have been passed on to humanity by representatives of other worlds. A place where you can find UFOs. American scientist, professor at Northeastern University Brian Helmut, claims that the search for extraterrestrial life on Earth should begin with the ocean. In his opinion, oceans and seas hide many mysteries, and people have only a superficial understanding of their depths. Helmut, not being a specialist in UFOs but having knowledge in oceanology, believes that something related to extraterrestrial civilizations might be hiding underwater. I would like to add that recently, oceanographer Paula Bontempi joined NASA's Special Commission for the Study of Unidentified Objects. Earlier, NASA announced the appointment of a new head of UFO research, Mark McInerney, who previously represented the organization at the Pentagon. This underscores the seriousness of the approach to studying this phenomenon. The discovery of Noah's Ark. In 1959, Captain İlhan Durupinar, while working on aerial photography for NATO and Turkey, made an unexpected discovery. At an altitude of 2,000 meters, he noticed unusual geological formations, resembling the outlines of a giant ship. This discovery sparked a lot of debate and speculation that the remains found could be Noah's Ark. The discovery attracted the attention of both scientists and adventurers. Despite numerous expeditions and studies in the following years, clear evidence confirming the biblical story of the Ark has still not been found. However, this region continues to be a subject of scientific interest. To support the possibility of real events like the biblical flood, geological studies in the Black Sea region have shown that about 6,000 years ago, a catastrophic flooding did indeed occur. This may have resulted from large-scale glacier melting, which greatly raised the sea level. In addition, clay tablets dating back to the same period were found in Mesopotamia. One of these tablets describes the story of the Great Flood and the rescue of various species of animals on ships. This has noticeable parallels with the story of Noah from the Bible. These findings indicate that the themes of a global catastrophe and salvation on a ship may have deep historical roots running through many cultures and civilizations. Fossilized bacteria. The theory of extraterrestrial origin of life requires strong evidence. In the mid-20th century, scientists began studying meteorites in hopes of finding traces of extraterrestrial microorganisms in them. However, the results turned out to be inconclusive. In 1965, seeds were discovered in the Orge meteorite, but it soon turned out to be a hoax. In 1996, NASA announced that fossilized bacteria had been found in the Allen Hills 84001 meteorite, which came from Mars. However, many scientists believe that this could have been the result of chemical processes. Although there is no convincing evidence for the panspermia theory, it is known that some microorganisms are capable of surviving in space. For example, the bacterium Streptococcus mitis accidentally survived a flight to the moon and back on board Apollo 12. In 2008, an experiment on the ISS showed that bacteria can exist in outer space for more than a year. Nobel laureate Francis Crick suggested that life could have been deliberately spread by an advanced civilization. Perhaps in the future, humanity itself will engage in seeding other planets. Stationary objects underwater. There are many stationary anomalous objects hidden in the world's oceans. Some remain a mystery to scientists. Even if we set aside myths, such as the legends of Atlantis, the list of interesting discoveries is still impressive. One of the most famous is the Yonaguni Monument, located near the Ryukyu Islands, not far from the Japanese island of Yonaguni. These are stone structures located at a shallow depth, which have regular geometric shapes. Although most scientists consider them to be natural geological formations, many researchers and pseudo-archaeologists try to prove that these stones are the result of human activity. Another mystery is the megalith found at the bottom of the Pantelleria Vecchia Bank in the Strait of Tunisia. It is a huge stone, 12 meters long and weighing 15 tons with 3 round holes in it. Based on its structure, it is believed that it was shaped by humans in the Mesolithic period, about 12 to 15,000 years ago. However, analysis of the rock has shown that its age may be much greater, over 40,000 years, which casts doubt on its origin. The Cuban underwater city is another mysterious discovery made in 2001 off the western coast of Cuba. Using sonar, geometric structures were discovered that resemble pyramids and rings made of granite blocks. These findings have raised many questions among researchers, as they could be either natural formations or the result of human activity. These and other objects remain the subject of active research and discussion, as their origin could reveal much that is unknown about ancient civilizations and the nature of the ocean depths.
The Shroud of Turin and its connection to UFOs. This mysterious Christian relic attracts interest not only among religious communities, but also among paranormal researchers and ufologists. This 4-meter linen cloth contains the imprint of a human body, presumably crucified, which according to tradition is associated with Jesus Christ. The relic is kept in the Turin Cathedral and causes endless debates about its authenticity. From a scientific point of view, radiocarbon analysis indicates its medieval origin, but there are theories linking it to the divine or even to extraterrestrial intervention. The uniqueness of the image on the shroud is hard to explain. It was not painted with a brush, but looks like an imprint resembling a photographic negative, which is incredible for the technology of that time. The connection with UFOs and extraterrestrial theories arises from the hypothesis that the shroud could have been the product of highly advanced technology. Ufologists claim that the process of creating this imprint could have been associated with the release of powerful energy or a burst of light,
напоминающего современные лазерные технологии.
Some believe that the resurrection of Jesus, accompanied by a miraculous event, could have been the result of intervention by extraterrestrial civilizations that shared their knowledge with humanity. However, these are just theories.
The Maya and extraterrestrial civilizations. How can we explain the existence of artifacts depicting spaceships, a calendar that works to this day, and perfectly smooth crystal skulls? And all this comes from a civilization about which official history says something different. The secret might lie in extraterrestrial visitors. Yes, you heard that right. One of the Maya gods, Kukulkan, whom the Aztecs knew as Quetzalcoatl, was supposedly an alien from another planet. He taught the Maya such complex sciences as agriculture, mathematics, medicine, and astronomy. And the Maya also knew about planets that were only discovered several centuries later. In the 1930s, scientists in Guatemala discovered a sandstone head, which can no longer be studied because it was used as a target during military actions. But it adds even more intrigue to our history because its facial features are nothing like those of the Maya or other peoples of that region. Did you know that many Maya books, believed to have been burned, actually ended up in the Vatican? It was these books that were used to create the Gregorian calendar, which is now used all over the world. All these facts only confirm that the Maya could communicate with an extraterrestrial civilization. The Calganta disk, an object called the Calganta disk, kept in the Rafael Larco Herrera Archaeological Museum in the capital of Peru, Lima, may be evidence that people in ancient times knew what the arms of a spiral galaxy looked like. This artifact, which is believed to have been created about 2,000 years ago, looks like a spiral galaxy. But here's the catch. The number of arms on this disk does not match the number of arms in our galaxy. If we assume that the disk really depicts a galaxy, it calls into question many things we thought we knew about ancient civilizations. At the same time, the Calganta disk remains a mysterious artifact that raises more questions than it answers. Crocodile Stone. And now let's head to the amazing mountains of Laos, where the ancient ruins of the Wat Phu Temple are hidden. Among the temple ruins, archaeologists discovered a huge boulder with crocodile-like carvings. Even more intriguing, the indentation matches the size of a human. Many people believe that this stone was used as an altar for human sacrifices. If that's true, then such rituals could have taken place back in the days of Chenla, the ancient empire that ruled these lands. According to legends, every year when the frangipani petals began to fall, the king of Chenla would pray to the mountain spirits and offer rice wine to the two most beautiful girls. Then the girls were sacrificed to the gods. Such sacrifices are described in the 6th century history of Sui, and all this time, the community far from the big cities preserved this story, which suggests its possible authenticity. However, it is unknown what role the crocodile rock played in these rituals. This unique carving makes it even more mysterious. Nothing like this has been found in the ruins of Laos or Cambodia. And here is the question. If the crocodile rock was not used for sacrifices, then what was it for? The homeland of aliens has been discovered. Scientists believe that the exoplanet LHS 1140b may have an atmosphere suitable for breathing and an ocean of liquid water. This planet was discovered back in 2014. However, new research has revealed many secrets. LHS 1140b is called the Eye Planet because of its unusual appearance. It is located 48 light-years from Earth in the constellation Cetus and weighs 7 times more than our planet. Research using a NASA telescope has confirmed the presence of water and a nitrogen-rich atmosphere similar to Earth's. However, the local sun is a tiny star, only 1/5 the size of our sun. It emits energy mainly in the red and infrared parts of the spectrum, so the planet is likely shrouded in twilight. If there is vegetation there, it is most likely black in color to absorb as much light as possible. Recent studies have shown that the planet could be either a mini Neptune made of gas or a mega-Earth covered with water. Scientists tend to believe that this planet is a water world with a rocky core. It is also assumed that it has a dense atmosphere and a stable climate. Astronomer Ryan McDonald from the University of Michigan noted that this is the first time we've seen a hint of an atmosphere on a rocky, potentially habitable planet. We may have found evidence of air there. The mystery of the Jiroft civilization. In Iran, in the ancient city of Jiroft, archaeologists have discovered unique artifacts. These finds, which are over 5,000 years old, are clay and stone objects depicting unusual ancient creatures. Particular attention is drawn to figures with elongated heads and large eyes, which resemble descriptions of extraterrestrial beings. The images on the artifacts of the Jiroft civilization are so unique and different from other known ancient cultures that some researchers have put forward the hypothesis of possible contacts with extraterrestrial civilizations. These hypotheses are based on the idea that ancient artists might have depicted what they saw or heard about. The findings also include complex geometric shapes and symbols that have not yet been deciphered. This only adds to the mystery of this ancient culture. The Giraffe civilization, thanks to its mysterious artifacts, attracts the attention not only of archaeologists, but also of enthusiasts of mysticism and the unexplained. The burial of the celestial visitor. In 1901, an expedition of British archaeologists led by Lord Williams Campbell conducted excavations in one of the ancient tombs in the desert near the Pyramid of Giza. In the massive sarcophagus, the investigators made a sensational discovery. Inside was a mummy that was significantly different from all known remains of ancient Egypt. The creature's height exceeded 2.5 meters, and its skull was unusually elongated and narrow, resembling the depictions of gods on the walls of Egyptian temples. The bones turned out to be significantly denser than those of a human, and their structure indicated increased strength, as if designed for life in different conditions. The strangest thing was that there were no traces of embalming or autopsy on the body, yet it was perfectly preserved, as if it had been in stasis. Archaeologists found engravings on the sarcophagus referencing a messenger from the stars who came during the pharaoh's era. The hieroglyphs hinted at beings who descended from the sky and taught the ancient Egyptians architecture and astronomy. Some of the symbols resembled star maps, and on the inner walls of the tomb, there were images of flying disc-shaped objects. This discovery gave rise to many theories, from alternative histories about Egypt's connection with extraterrestrial civilizations to speculations about lost human knowledge. However, shortly after the excavation, the artifact disappeared without a trace. It was sent to a private collection, and mentions of it were quickly erased from official reports. Fragments of an alien ship in the ocean. A well-known scientist from Harvard University, astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who gained popularity for his research on UFOs and possible contacts with extraterrestrials, reported a possible discovery of fragments of an alien ship on the ocean floor. Loeb became well known thanks to his theory about the unusual nature of the asteroid Oumuamua, which in 2017 accelerated and deviated from its expected trajectory for no apparent reason, leading the scientists to suggest its artificial origin. Recently, Loeb turned his attention to a meteorite that fell into the Pacific Ocean in 2014. The object, known as IM-1, was notable for its unusual speed. The scientist went to the site of its fall and, together with his team, retrieved a fragment from a depth of 1,700 meters. As a result, they discovered about 50 small spheres made of iron, magnesium, and titanium, each about 0.3 mm in size. Lepp and his colleagues suggest that these spherules could be evidence of an emergency landing of an alien spacecraft on Earth. However, many scientists are skeptical of his hypothesis, claiming that similar fragments with such a composition could be the result of natural processes that occur when a meteorite enters the atmosphere and falls to the ocean floor. The sarcophagus of Lord Pakal. Lord Pakal, also known as Pakal the Great, was the ruler of the city of Palenque in the Maya civilization. He ruled from 615 to 683 AD and is known for his significant contributions to the development of the city and its culture. Pakal the Great left behind many architectural achievements, including the Temple of the Inscriptions, where his sarcophagus was discovered. The lid of Lord Pakal's sarcophagus is decorated with intricate images that have sparked many interpretations and debates. It depicts Pakal sitting in an unusual pose surrounded by symbols and hieroglyphs. His position and surroundings have given rise to various interpretations, including theories about contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. Eric von Däniken, a proponent of the ancient astronaut theory, interprets the image on the sarcophagus lid as evidence of contact between the Maya and extraterrestrials. He claims that Pakal is depicted in the position of a spaceship pilot, with his hands, feet, and back supposedly operating some kind of device. According to Däniken, this suggests that Pakal might have been connected to extraterrestrial technology. Archaeologists and historians propose an alternative explanation. They believe that the image on the sarcophagus symbolizes Pakal's journey to the afterlife and his connection with the Maya deities. In their opinion, Pakal's pose represents him as an intermediary between the earthly world and the spirit world, not as a spaceship pilot. Could Lord Pakal really have been an alien? This hypothesis remains highly controversial and lacks scientific evidence. Despite the interesting interpretations proposed by Denikin, most scientists tend to consider these theories fanciful and unsupported by real evidence. Other artifacts found in Palenque and other Maya cities support traditional interpretations. For example, numerous inscriptions and images depict scenes from Maya life, their religious rituals, and mythological beliefs. These findings confirm that Pakal and his sarcophagus were part of the Maya cultural and religious context, not evidence of extraterrestrial contact. The full-figured woman of Saliagos is a unique testament to the ancient culture that flourished on the Cycladic Islands during the Neolithic era. Its discovery has revealed many secrets about the lifestyle, religious practices, and artistic traditions of this ancient society. Saliagos, despite its small size, played a key role in the early history of the Aegean region, in addition to its role as a connecting isthmus between Antiparos and Paros. It was a center of production and trade, as evidenced by the finds of obsidian tools that exceeded local needs. The ceramic vases discovered on the island provide insight into the design and style of the era. Their patterns and shapes reflect a creative approach that may have had religious or cultural significance for the inhabitants of Saliagos. Overall, the discovery on Saliagos provides invaluable information about the ancient world of the Aegean region. Earth's kryptonite jadarite. Jadarite, a mineral discovered in 2006 in Serbia, attracted attention due to its remarkable similarity to kryptonite, the fictional substance that weakens Superman. The chemical composition of jadarite almost completely matches the kryptonite described in the movie Superman Returns, including sodium, lithium, borosilicate, and hydroxide. However, unlike its fictional counterpart, jadarite does not contain fluorine, which gave kryptonite its famous green glow. That's why jadarite is white in color. The discovery of this material sparked great interest among both scientists and science fiction fans, serving as an example of how fiction sometimes intersects with reality. Jadarite was found exclusively in the Jadar River Valley in Serbia, and is of interest due to its high lithium content, which is used in battery production. A mysterious photo. This picture raises many questions and debates. It shows two enigmatic figures, and some consider them proof of existence. On the left is a tiny creature with thin limbs, a large head, and distinctive metal-shaped eyes. Its skin has a strange color as if it's covered with a shimmering film. On the right, there is another figure preserved in a vessel with liquid, resembling exhibits you might find in scientific laboratories or anatomy museums. Such findings are often associated with conspiracy theories about UFO crashes, secret laboratories, and experiments. Some claim this is evidence of extraterrestrial life, while skeptics consider them skillfully made dummies or anatomical models. Whether these are real artifacts or just artificial fakes remains an open question. But one thing is certain: such images fuel interest in the mystery of extraterrestrial intelligence and make us wonder, what if we are not alone in the universe? A call from aliens. For many decades, humanity has been sending signals into space, hoping to establish contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. But what if one day Earth receives a reply? If scientists manage to detect signs of extraterrestrial life, most likely the first to know about it will be the specialists of the SETI program, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This project began back in 1959 when scientists started studying signals from space. Today, powerful computers are used to analyze a huge number of radio signals, tracking any unusual patterns. According to Seth Shostak, the chief astronomer of SETI, even if a signal from aliens is detected, it will not lead to panic. All results will be confirmed by other telescopes, and the whole world will definitely find out about it. After all, news of such a discovery will instantly spread through the media and social networks. Although in the past similar attempts to contact aliens have led to false alarms, scientists believe it is important to be prepared for real contact. But the question of how to respond to the aliens remains open. This will require international cooperation. And according to scientists, the main language of communication will be mathematics. Professor Paul Davis from Arizona State University leads a group that is working on creating a response. Some believe that the aliens might just send a signal to say, "Hello, Earthlings, we are here." But how to express the essence of human life or our values using mathematics remains a difficult task.
A fragment of a granite device, a granite artifact from Japan with mysterious patterns, still causes a lot of debate among scientists and researchers. This stone was found near ancient structures, raising questions because of its unusual shape and precise workmanship. On its surface, there are numerous indentations and lines that connect into a complex pattern, the meaning of which remains unknown. The official version suggests that the stone could have been part of a decorative element of a palace or temple. However, this hypothesis raises doubts, considering the precision and symmetry of the patterns. Granite is an extremely hard material, and processing it requires complex tools that were hardly available to ancient craftsmen. The technology for creating such smooth and deep recesses in such a difficult material to work with raises even more questions. The mystery deepens with suggestions that the discovered artifact may be just a fragment of a larger structure. If we restore its original appearance, it might be possible to uncover its hidden purpose. Some alternative theories link the artifact to ancient technologies that were either lost or introduced by a more advanced civilization, possibly even of extraterrestrial origin. The skillfully crafted elements on the granite might have been part of some kind of mechanism, a device for collecting or concentrating energy. This discovery reminds us of how many mysteries our history holds and opens up space for imagination and new research.
The Sphinx from Mars was discovered in 1976 during archaeological excavations in Egypt. This unique statuette, only 10 centimeters tall, amazed scientists with its strange resemblance to the famous Martian Sphinx, depicted in photographs taken by the Viking 1 space probe. The statuette was found in a tomb dated to the 3rd dynasty of pharaohs, and it is part of an ancient collection of artifacts. Symbols and signs were engraved on it. They resemble traditional Egyptian hieroglyphs, and so far they have not been deciphered. Many scientists and UFO researchers have begun to suggest that the statuette could be evidence of contact between the ancient Egyptians and extraterrestrial civilizations. According to some theories, the Sphinx from Mars was a kind of key or device for communicating with cosmic beings. Ancient texts found near the artifact spoke of gods from the sky who supposedly visited Earth in ancient times. There's a theory that it was these gods who gave the statuette to the pharaohs. The Sphinx from Mars continues to attract the attention of scientists and paranormal enthusiasts. Some consider it irrefutable evidence of the existence of extraterrestrial life, while skeptics claim that it is merely a coincidence and an interesting archaeological artifact. Spaceship in Turkey. In Turkey, near the city of Sanliurfa, is one of the most mysterious archaeological sites in the world, Göbekli Tepe. This complex, which is over 12,000 years old, consists of massive stone structures arranged in circles. Göbekli Tepe is considered the oldest known temple complex on Earth. The megaliths, up to 6 meters high and weighing several tons, are impressive for their precision and craftsmanship. The stone slabs are decorated with carvings depicting animals and abstract symbols. This level of art and engineering raises many questions about how ancient people were able to create such complex structures, without a doubt. Researchers suggest that the construction of Göbekli Tepe might have been connected to extraterrestrial technologies. These hypotheses are based on the unusual precision and scale of the complex, which some believe could only have been achieved with advanced technologies, possibly passed on by alien civilizations. Göbekli Tepe continues to attract the attention of scientists and enthusiasts from all over the world, fueling interest in ancient mysteries and possible contacts with extraterrestrial beings. Alien's hand. While walking along the beach in Brazil, you can find shells, pebbles, little crabs, and an alien's hand. That's exactly what happened to a couple who decided to take a romantic walk along the shore of the Atlantic Ocean. The bony hand with long fingers looks like the friendly alien from Steven Spielberg's movie E.T. the Extraterrestrial. It would seem that here it is, real proof of an alien's presence on our planet, even if not the whole alien. Santiago and her boyfriend Diva Nirsuza took lots of photos and posted them online. After all, where can you find the best experts on any topic? Of course, on the internet. A marine biologist, Eric Cummin, came across the photos and debunked all the myths about the find. He believes that the hand belongs to a member of the cetacean infraorder of mammals, which includes whales, dolphins, and porpoises, and its terrifying appearance is due to the stage of decomposition, which lasts about a year and a half. People have been trying for years to find anything at all. This is clear evidence of the existence of extraterrestrial life. But scientists always come along who can explain this or that artifact from a scientific point of view. In this case, the find indicates that cetaceans, which now live in seas and oceans, used to walk on land 50 million years ago. Under the webbed flesh of a whale's or dolphin's flipper, there are 5 fingers or a 5-fingered limb. Such a structure is found in humans, amphibians, and a number of other animals, which points to their common ancestor. The couple not only took photos but also recorded the hand on video. To show how big it is, the biologist believes that this is a part of a dolphin, which are very common here. Usually, such bones should not be removed from the beach so as not to disrupt the natural nutrient cycle in the ecosystem. However, scientists are quick to study recently deceased animals to determine the exact cause of death. It could be more than an accidental dolphin death. It might signal a mass epidemic or animal extinction from harmful substances in the water. The Eye of the Sahara. This geological structure was seen by astronauts in 1965. That's where its name comes from. From the air, it looks like a huge eye surrounded by green circles. It's a dolerite intrusion surrounded by sparse vegetation, which is a rare phenomenon for the desert. Cosmonauts even used it as a landmark because it's the most noticeable structure in the Sahara. At the center of the formation, there are siliceous breccias, a special type of sedimentary rock. This indicates its ancient origin, which scientists estimate to be millions of years old. The oldest ring is about 600 million years old. At first, it was thought to be the site of a meteorite impact. However, this theory was not confirmed. Then scientists suggested that the Risha structure has a geological origin. New studies show that this structure was formed through hydrothermal activity. One of the most unique features of the Eye of the Sahara is its ability to change color throughout the day, depending on its heat emission. And although there are still many debates and assumptions about the origin of this geological wonder, most modern scientists believe that it is the result of erosion after the uplift of a section of the Earth's crust. Jade Bowls, 1980s, Ecuador. Adventurous archaeologist Elias Sotomayor ventures deep into the jungle, inspired by stories of a mysterious underground city. The city was never found, but Elias discovered amazing artifacts that glow in the dark, over 18,000 years old. And here they are, forgotten in a corner. 12 bowls and a goblet, crafted with incredible precision from hard-to-work jade. Amazing, right? But it gets even more interesting. Each bowl perfectly matches the others, and all of them exactly match the volume of the goblet. But what if, back in those ancient times, there were advanced stoneworking machines in Ecuador? The cherry on top, each bowl and goblet has a different constellation depicted on it. Just imagine the level of astronomical knowledge their creators must have had. And all of this could be connected to the legendary City of the Red Sun, which, according to myths, once existed here in Ecuador. Maybe our mysterious artifacts are all that's left of its inhabitants. 2 alien bases on Earth. American lawyer and ufologist Danny Sheehan claims that he has video recordings confirming the existence of alien bases on Earth. According to him, one of the largest such bases is located in the Pacific Ocean, between the west coast of Mexico and Guadalupe Island. It might even be under the ocean floor. Sheehan is known for his investigations related to UFOs, and in recent years he has actively brought in witnesses to testify before the U.S. Congress. He is convinced that the UFO phenomenon is real, and that ships carrying living beings from other planets or dimensions have been present on Earth for a long time. According to him, the underwater base is being monitored. There are already hundreds of videos showing unidentified objects diving underwater and then resurfacing. In addition, Sheehan claims that the military is trying to shoot down these ships and capture their crews. He warns that the government is hiding the truth, but confirmation of the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations is inevitable. The Minoan snake goddess is the most famous symbol of the Minoan civilization and remains a mystery to this day. It is one of the most recognizable symbols of the entire Minoan culture. The snake goddess, however, are still known to know little about her. Considering her popularity, one might assume that scientists have already studied this artifact thoroughly. But ever since her discovery in 1903, debates have continued about whom or what she represents. Dating back to around 1600 BC, this faience figurine is rarely seen in Minoan art, which makes her even more mysterious. Some archaeologists believe that she represents a goddess, a protector of animals, while others think that the woman depicted in the figurine has nothing to do with snakes at all. Some believe that the snakes in her hands are actually ropes, and that the figurine itself was significantly restored by Arthur Evans, which led to many misconceptions and incorrect interpretations. The head of a humanoid creature. A couple from Switzerland discovered a strange head of a humanoid creature with large eyes on the riverbank. Photos of the find were posted on Reddit with the caption, "Found an alien statue head in the river." This post gathered more than 61,000 likes and numerous comments. Although the head really does look like an alien, it was later revealed that this sculpture was made by students many years ago. One of them used silicone molds to create concrete sculptures and covered it with fluorescent paint. When the students moved out, the sculpture was lost or thrown away. The hieroglyphic stairway in Copan. The ancient city of Copan, located in the western part of modern-day Honduras, is known for its outstanding architectural structures and numerous monuments that testify to the high development of this civilization. One of the most famous monuments of Copan is the hieroglyphic stairway, which is considered one of the largest and most complex Maya inscriptions. The hieroglyphic stairway in Copan consists of 63 steps on which more than 2,200 hieroglyphs are carved. This stairway serves as an important source of information about the dynastic history of Copan and its rulers. The hieroglyphs on the stairway tell about the feats and achievements of the kings, as well as religious and ritual events associated with their reign. Ernst Forstemann, an outstanding German scholar, played a key role in deciphering the Maya hieroglyphs. At the end of the 19th century, he made significant progress in understanding the Maya writing system, which allowed him to read many texts, including those found on the hieroglyphic stairway. The Maya hieroglyphs represent a complex writing system that combines phonetic and ideographic elements. Modern technologies have significantly advanced the study of Maya hieroglyphs. The use of 3D scanning and photogrammetry for digital analysis allows researchers to create accurate models of hieroglyphic texts and analyze them with a high degree of detail. Machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies help automate the processes of deciphering and comparing texts, which speeds up and simplifies the work of scientists. Martian meteorites send you greetings from space. Seriously, these rocks came to us directly from Mars. It sounds incredible, but it's a scientific fact. How did pieces of the red planet end up on Earth? It all started with a giant impact. Either an asteroid or a comet collided with Mars, ejecting fragments of rock into space. Because the planet's gravity is 2.5 times weaker than Earth's, the debris escaped Mars and set off on an interplanetary journey. Some took millions of years to reach Earth. One of the largest meteorites is Taudeni 002, found in Mali in 2021. It weighs 14.5 kilograms, and the most famous meteorite is Allen Hills, discovered in Antarctica. It arrived 13,000 years ago, and inside it, scientists found possible traces of Martian life.
Elongated skulls. The mystery of the elongated skulls of Paracas continues to spark lively discussions among scientists and researchers. These elongated skulls, discovered by archaeologist Julio Tello in 1928 on the Paracas Peninsula in Peru, are estimated to be about 3,000 years old. The skulls are distinguished by their unusual shape, and although similar finds have been made all over the world from Rome to the Caucasus, the skulls from Paracas are especially astonishing. It is believed that the elongated shape of the skull was the result of intentional manipulation, such as binding infants' heads with special bands or boards. This process, known as cranial deformation, was common among many ancient cultures. Even now, it is practiced in some African tribes. However, it remains a mystery what exactly motivated people to engage in this practice so widely. One popular hypothesis is the assumption that people sought to imitate gods or visitors from the sky who, according to legends, had elongated heads. Another version suggests that it was created to enhance the perception of cosmic energy, which supposedly contributed to spiritual or intellectual development. The peculiarity of the Paracas skulls lies not only in their shape but also in their volume and structure. Studies show that the skull volume is larger than that of ordinary people and the bone structure is different. These anomalies give rise to theories about the extraterrestrial origin of the beings with such skulls. The skulls may belong to representatives of another race or to hybrid beings about whom we still know little.
The Gobi astronaut. In 1834, in the Gobi Desert in Mongolia, the famous English explorer and cartographer Charles Edwin discovered a mysterious cave in a rock. Inside the cave was a skeleton of unusually large size, almost 5 meters long, with a proportionally enlarged skull and curved ribs. Next to the skeleton were metal objects, heavily distorted by corrosion, but one object attracted the attention of scientists: a stone slab with a map of the starry sky engraved on it, and markings that did not correspond to any known star systems. According to Edwin, the slab is not just an artifact, but a tool for navigation or part of an ancient astronomical device. Interestingly, research has shown that the material of the slab contains rare earth elements that are not typical for the region where the cave was found. This has led to speculation about the possible extraterrestrial origin of both the slab itself and the creature whose remains were found nearby. Further study of the stone slab revealed that it contained maps that were used for navigation in outer space, suggesting that the creature might have been a pilot or explorer from a distant star system. Scientists suggested that the creature's death might have been caused by the crash of its ship, parts of which could have been scattered across the desert and buried under layers of sand for centuries. This discovery remained little known due to political and scientific disputes about the origin and significance of the artifacts found. However, it continues to spark controversy, scientists and adventurers seeking to uncover the mysteries of ancient civilizations. Flying machines of ancient aliens. Before you is an artifact decorated with strange symbols and images that resemble flying machines. Some researchers believe that this could be ancient evidence of contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. The shape of the object is unusual. It resembles a capsule or a ship. Inside, there are figurines with large heads and almond-shaped eyes, which are often associated with descriptions of extraterrestrial beings. On the sides, there are engraved symbols that resemble the writing of ancient civilizations, diagrams, or even maps of the starry sky. This artifact could have been part of a ritual object reflecting the beliefs of an ancient people, or it could be evidence of something much more incredible. Perhaps we are looking at an artifact left behind by representatives of another civilization. Serrated stones. Amazing artifacts were found in Southern California. Bronze gears that were previously discovered in Peru. These stone gears are known as the California gear stones, ranging from 2 to 6 inches in diameter and up to 2 inches thick. Scientists believe that they were made sometime between 6,000 and 3,500 BC. Looking at these artifacts with modern eyes, they may seem primitive, but these stones have different features, such as cups, round indentations and notches along the edges, as well as patterns that look like cupcakes. Amazingly, about 15% of them have a hole in the center, often narrow on one side. Scientists have also discovered a curious anomaly. In the middle, there are perfect square holes, which would be difficult to reproduce even with modern technology. This suggests that their ancient creators were familiar with advanced technologies. The purpose of these stone discs still remains a mystery. Some suggest that they were used for some kind of ritual purposes, but who created these stones and why remains an open question. Today, the prevailing opinion is that these gears were used as ceremonial objects, but their meaning and symbolism are still up for discussion. A tiny mummy in Atacama. 20 years ago, in an abandoned mining town in the Atacama Desert in Chile, the mummified remains of a humanoid only 15 centimeters tall were found. When this skeleton ended up in the hands of a private collector in Spain, scientists puzzled over its origin, and it even appeared in a documentary as possible evidence of extraterrestrial life. Scientists from California were able to extract DNA from the mummy's bones and uncover the real and tragic story of this creature, which was given the name Ada. It turned out that this was not a visitor from another world, but a girl who apparently was stillborn or died shortly after birth, with horrifying mutations that determined her unusual physique. She was only 15 centimeters long. Some features of the bones indicated an age of 6 to 8 years. Instead of the usual 12 pairs of ribs, Ada had only 10. Her head was elongated and cone-shaped. Professor Harry Nolan, who conducted the research, believes that Ada was stillborn or died immediately after birth. Her deformities were so severe that she would not have been able to eat. In her condition, she would have been placed in a neonatal intensive care unit, but such facilities simply weren't available in the place where her remains were found. It all started as a story about aliens, but in reality, it's a story about human tragedy. A woman gave birth to a deformed child who was preserved and sold as a strange artifact. In the end, it turned out to be a person with an amazing genetic story from which we can learn a lot that will help others. The Metal Man. Back in 1719, in the ordinary mining town of Falun in Sweden, everything was going as usual until the miners, coming on shift, stumbled upon a strange discovery. It was a human body. The young man looked as if he had just died moments ago. Overall, corpses are a common part of life and don't surprise anyone, but this dead man turned out to be made of both flesh and metal at the same time. It felt like his entire body was coated with an ultra-thin metal layer, something even machines couldn't replicate. Not even a skilled craftsman could manage this, as every hair on his body was coated in metal. The mine management was unsure how to handle such an unusual discovery. The corpse was put on display in the local museum, where visitors saw the unusual exhibit as a miracle, believing that the man had been metallic even in life, almost like the Tin Woodman or the Terminator. One day, some grandchildren brought an elderly lady to the museum. She stood in front of the exhibit for a while, clutched her chest because she recognized the body as her fiancé, Mats Israelsson. About 40 minutes passed. It had been 40 years since their last meeting. The young man was hurrying to a date with his fiancée, but he never showed up. They searched for Mats for a while. Gradually, his parents calmed down and accepted it. His friends forgot about him. The girl married someone else. Most likely, on the way, he encountered criminals who killed him and threw his body into a mine shaft. Ideally, the deceased should have been buried, but the local authorities realized they could make money from this. There were a huge number of people wanting to visit the museum, and tourists came from neighboring countries. As they say, money doesn't stink, but the exhibit started to. The metallic layer began to thin and evaporate under the influence of air, and the organic matter simply started to decompose. In 1749, the body was buried, but 10 years later it was dug up again and returned to its previous place. Only in the 1930s was he finally buried for good, leaving a wax copy in the museum. But it turns out that the victim of a random murder is not the only such case. There were other discoveries as well, representing a combination of organic material and metal. In science, this phenomenon is known as pseudomorphism. It's an effect where some minerals replace others while preserving their external shapes. It's problematic to reproduce this in a laboratory. It's too expensive, time-consuming, and pointless. The case with Mats went down in history precisely because of the scale of the process, which affected a human body rather than the remains of a small animal, insect, or shell. UFO in 1665. In 1665, 6 fishermen witnessed a mysterious aerial phenomenon, a dogfight in the sky over the Baltic Sea near Stralsund. As evening fell, a dark gray disk appeared in the sky. The 1665 UFO exhibition reconstructs how this event was presented in the media of that time and shows that many of the communication strategies used to cover unexplained celestial phenomena are still relevant today. The central event of this exhibition was the aerial battle of April 8, 1665. Fishermen saw flocks of birds turn into ships that fought in the sky. Ghostly figures bustled on the decks. Soon, A flat disc appeared over the church of St. Nicholas, and the fishermen fled in fear. The next day they complained of trembling and body aches. The media of that time spread the news rapidly, suggesting various theories about the origin. In an era when religion played a huge role, people believed that the phenomenon was a sign sent by God. At that time, no one knew that the fishermen might have witnessed an atmospheric reflection of a naval battle beyond the horizon.
Mystical figurines. These unusual figurines from the ancient Mexican city of Teotihuacan are rare examples of the art and worldview of Aztec culture. Discovered in 1933 in the Metepec area by an American anthropologist, the figurines depict men and women with hollow torsos that can be opened. Inside, there are smaller figurines or objects, which has sparked much debate about their meaning and purpose. Such figurines are often called hosts because of their peculiar contents. The cavity in the chest area is symbolically closed with a door, which hints at hidden knowledge, a secret meaning, or the concept of the inner self. Perhaps these figurines embody the philosophical concept of the Nahual, an inner spirit or companion that accompanied a person in their spiritual quests and on the path of life. Other interpretations suggest a connection between the figurines and symbols of fertility, nurturing, or spiritual growth. Perhaps they personified social or religious roles, a warrior, a ruler, a merchant, or women from the elite strata of Teotihuacan society. The fine detailing, as well as the ability to open and close the figurine, speaks to the high level of craftsmanship of their creators. This unique design may have symbolized the interaction between the inner and outer worlds, as well as the desire to reveal hidden truths about the nature of humans and the world.
UFOs in the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages are often perceived as an era of wars, diseases, and dark superstitions, where there was no electricity or other modern conveniences. However, this period also saw major achievements such as universities, the printing press, and the first books. These innovations not only influenced the development of science and education, but also became sources of historical records, including unusual events in the sky that can be interpreted as encounters with UFOs. One such example is a news leaflet published in April 1561 describing a mass sighting in Nuremberg. On April 14, 1561 at dawn, the residents of the city witnessed a collision of various objects in the sky, spheres, cylinders, and other strange shapes. These objects fought with each other, and then one of them, a large black triangle, appeared in the sky. The event lasted for several hours, but it did not cause any harm to the townspeople. Some believe that these were mass hallucinations, while others think it could have been a UFO encounter. Such events are not limited to Nuremberg. In 1566, similar phenomena were observed in Basel, Switzerland. Strange figures in the sky resembling battles between celestial objects. In 1665, fishermen in Berlin witnessed a battle of airships, as well as a strange object resembling modern descriptions of UFOs. These stories suggest that UFOs may have been part of human mythology and documented long before the 20th century. Building blocks of life in asteroid samples. NASA analyzed samples from the asteroid Bennu, delivered by the OSIRIS-REx mission, and found organic compounds in them that are key to the origin of life. Among the findings are amino acids, ammonia, and formaldehyde, which could have participated in chemical reactions that led to the formation of proteins and DNA. Scientists confirmed that the samples contain 14 out of the 20 amino acids used by living organisms on Earth. Minerals were also found indicating the possible presence of water. This data strengthens the hypothesis that asteroids like Bennu could have delivered important components necessary for the origin of life to Earth. A frightening discovery in Kuwait. In Kuwait, a unique 7,000-year-old clay figurine was found, resembling images of aliens, which became a real breakthrough in archaeology. This discovery took place at the Bara 1 archaeological site, which dates back to the 6th millennium BC. The figurine depicts a head with slanted eyes, a flat nose, and an elongated skull, which gives it a resemblance to modern ideas of aliens. This find is the first of its kind in the Arabian Gulf region, although similar artifacts have previously been found in Mesopotamia. The figurine reflects the artistic traditions of the Ubaid culture, which was known for its unique ceramics and figurines. Interestingly, the figurine was made from Mesopotamian clay rather than local ceramics, which indicates cultural exchange. Ubaid art included the creation of figurines with symbolic meaning, and this discovery may help us understand the spiritual practices of ancient societies. The figurines might have been associated with religious rituals or served as symbols of social status. Although science hasn't confirmed visitors from space, each person decides for themselves what mysterious flying objects are. Share this video with your friends and leave a kind comment below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, everyone.